Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Can you introduce yourself?
I'm Dr. Isahaku Adam, a senior lecturer at the Department of Hospitality and Tourism Management of the University of Cape Coast.
Sir, today's event, what was
Yeah, the idea is that tourism has been one of the mainstays of this country's economy, generating a number of jobs, contributing substantially to the GDP of this country. And then even apart from that, tourism has potential to, as it were, help us emancipate ourselves from the economic conditions we currently find ourselves in. But then in the midst of all that, we realize that the potential of tourism in Ghana has been underutilized. And in that regard, we felt as a department in hospitality and tourism education, the time was ripe as part of our 10th anniversary celebration to bring stakeholders together to deliberate on the way forward. What has happened in the past, the reflections from the past, the current state, and for that matter, deliberate on the way forward and how we can successfully, move the tourism agenda in the country forward, and then ensure that tourism contributes substantially to the socio-economic development of this country more than it is currently doing.
looking at the 10 years celebration and looking at the debate that came, do you think Ghana we have a policy based on tourism? Looking at government appoint ministers day in day out, and we don't have substance, we don't have directors who are taking in charge of the tourism. Do you think we have the future policy to move tourism?
Right. In terms of the governance of the tourism industry in Ghana, I must say that the structure is there on paper because we do have the ministry, we have um, the minister and directors and other employees at the ministry, we have the Ghana Tourism Authority and other agencies responsible for tourism development and promotion in Ghana. But what we lack, in my opinion, is a concrete political will to move beyond the structures that we see. And again, even on paper, we do have a policy, but as indicated and as it came out during the discussions, you realize that a policy without a legislation is really toothless. And for that matter, you cannot implement it. You cannot hold people by the book to implement the policies, and that is one of the problems. Aside that, you can talk about even the policy itself, the vibrancy of the policy, and whether the policy itself was developed through a consultative means, and how that reflects the need and the aspirations of the tourism industry in Ghana. And so that is our main challenge. So on paper, government will tell you we have the structure, we have the agency, but aside the structure and the agency, you realize that the policy that is needed to move the tourism sector forward is lacking in a regard that not that it doesn't exist, it does exist, but the process that leads up to the formulation of the policy and the actual implementation of the policy still remains a challenge in this country.
There was an issue of UCC students when they come out and it's difficult to do things, but when they are in school, they're able to do the practicals. Do you think this is a challenge for the university? And what measure do you think the university will put in place to avoid certain things?
Yeah, I mean, it's not something we are shy of, it's not something we run away from. We do acknowledge that when we started, there was a challenge as to the industry, the practical skills and then the theoretical knowledge, the gap between them. So what we have done so far is to ensure that we have realigned our programs by looking and assessing the industry to ensure that we are able to understand the needs of the industry and the current challenges that the industry face. And based on that, we redesigned the program totally. In fact, when this program started in '96, it was something else. About 5 years ago, we came up with a new curriculum, this time incorporating a lot of practical work. And as part of it, as I speak to you now, some of our students are out there on internship, all in the bid to prepare them for the world of work and make sure they are equipped with the practical skills. And as I speak to you now, we are also in the process of revitalizing the curriculum. And as part of it, we have designated a 3-day workshop where we are going to bring industry players in to contribute to the design of the new curriculum. Then it's only when they come in that you can be able to tell the gap, and then we'll be able to understand them, listen to them, get the industry needs, and then feed that one into the new curriculum. Mainly, We are also looking at the possibility of exploring other options in terms of practical training. So collaborations with some hotels, collaborations with our travel and tour agencies. And now we are even thinking about extending the internship period beyond 3 months to a whole year, so that they will be on the job, they will be able to see what is going on in the industry, and they will be able to equip themselves with the practical skills that is needed to move the industry forward.
Is the department ready to have its own, let's say, hotel, so that the student, instead of going out, they are in the practicality? Is the university ready?
Well, I must say these things require resources, and the way the university operates, the department must be able to find some resources on its own to be able to establish this particular facility. But nevertheless, we have been able to, within our own internally generated fund, establish a restaurant. And this restaurant serves as a teaching restaurant, so a space for students to, engage themselves on practical issues and lessons, and for that matter have some practical knowledge. We also have some bits of hotel demonstration rooms that we are currently using to teach hotel management, housekeeping and all that. But then we are hopeful that the university is putting up a new hotel on campus. So part of it, we have engaged university management on the need to assign that particular hotel to us, to use it, to manage it, and for that matter, use it also as a practical space for our students to be able to learn on campus. But in the midst of all this, as I said earlier on, we are able to establish that collaboration with even other facilities, despite all these challenges. And part of the training, there's on-campus practicum, where they go out to these facilities on campus and within Cape Coast to have a feel of what it means to work, and also learn some practical skills. But in the long term, we are hoping the hotel that the university has put up will be handed over to the department to be used for the purpose of teaching and learning.
Your funding
Right. I think today's exercise for me is in order, bringing the industry players together to deliberate on the way forward. And as you can see, the discussion was rich. A lot of issues have come up. Now we have a main challenge of tabling these issues before the policymakers, the people who matter. Now when we get it out to them, then they also have a responsibility to respond to it. Part of our problem with the tourism industry is that we don't approach it as a scientific field. Now if you don't, then that means that there's a problem there. So if you don't approach it from a scientific perspective, where you can thoroughly analyze the industry to come up with the gaps, and then we keep on doing the same old thing. We wait, we don't invest in resources, tourism resources. In this country, when we say the tourism is private sector led, yes, it's true. But in my opinion, when you say tourism is private sector led and government's job is provide the infrastructure in tourism includes the attractions. Because now when you have the attractions will bring the tourists, then the private sector will respond appropriately by providing the hotels and the restaurants and what have you. So we need to move beyond the business as usual and take the game on, and then make sure we are engaged in strategic planning, not just strategic planning, by implementing the plan. Now the plan in itself should be drawn in consultation with all stakeholders, so that we'll be able to comprehensively put up a plan that can move this particular tourism industry forward in this country. So I think we have to move beyond the normal business of just waiting. We discover an attraction somewhere, we wait for the attraction to come up by itself. Nothing grows by itself. You have to invest in it. So we need serious investment and product development. As I indicated, we need to develop the tourism product, and even the existing ones, we need to always rejuvenate them. Because once you have an attraction, after you, I'm sure with you even in particular, if you visit an attraction 2-3 times, you don't want to go back there. So we need to keep rejuvenating, adding something new, taking something out, introducing something that will get us even repeat visits. But if we sit there and fold our arms without packaging the products, or without developing any new products, without adding interesting dimensions to the product, then I'm afraid this country will not be able to realize its full potential as far as tourism is concerned. So I think policymakers have to step up, keenly, we have to engage ourselves vigorously in product development. Then after product development, you can talk about marketing or the destination, the promotion of the destination. But if you don't, as far as I'm concerned, I have bits of fragments of products. We don't have any complete product, but yet we say we are engaging in tourism promotion. If you don't have a composite product, there's nothing to promote. Yeah.
I mean, mountain, formerly only one pilot can fly at a time. Today, we can have about 4 pilots flying at the same time. The fund has also been helpful in other areas like renovation and recommissioning of Kintampo waterfalls. And then we have also expanded Attic, that is our Accra Tourist Information Center, opposite, almost opposite Afrikiku. I think these are some of the few things we have done. There are a lot of them we can talk about later, but these are some of the few things that we've been able to use the money for, but there are others that we can talk about.
Is it concerning the workshop that they be complaining of?
Actually, they were talking about training, and we have started some kind of training for the industry players. We did one in Accra, we've done one in Elmina, we've also done other ones in Koforidua, training of tour guides across the country. And there are other training packages that are in the pipeline that very soon they will be rolled out to equip the industry players so that they can deliver good services to Ghanaians who patronize the tourism product, as well as foreigners who come to the country to patronize the services we provide in the tourism industry.
Concerning the panel, concerning the issue, what are you going to charge? What message are you giving them?
For now, I would say that we are pleading and appealing to the industry players to be encouraged to ensure that they do collect the funds for us, so that we can get more money and we can use the money to help the industry to grow as we have started. I believe that much will be done to ensure that these funds will continue to support the tourism industry in Ghana.